Listen, man, I'm doing great. I've been a fan of your work for a long time. It's cool to talk with you. Um, if someone has actually never seen anything you've done before, what is the first thing you'd like them watching and why?
Ooh, the first thing. Wow, that's a hard one. I don't know, Up in Smoke. I guess, to let them know what they're in for.
Sure. I don't know if you get one of the things about the movies you made back then. I really do think that brought a lot of it's crazy how far it's come from marijuana in the late 70s, early 80s to the way it is today. And I think that your films helped sort of push the conversation, or do you think so?
Oh yeah, I absolutely do. We were always in some quarters criticized because we were promoting marijuana, and we said at some point, well, what if we're right? What if marijuana is good for you and has medicinal properties and can help people? Ha ha ha. Well, who's laughing now?
Oh, 100%. Were you surprised at the popularity of those films back then?
No, I wasn't. I was surprised. I would have been surprised if they weren't popular because we had had big popular records, won Grammys and gold records and all those things, and so I knew, and we had been performing sold out concerts everywhere, so I knew that we had an audience because I'd been looking across the footlights for all. So I knew that it was going to have some success. It had much more success than I anticipated and became worldwide. That's really the difference between doing records and concerts and movies, because they can either dub or subtitle your movies, so you get. But it was always great when they just subtitled them, because you could hear our voices.
You directed Born in East LA back in 86, 87. How and I think that's the last time you directed a feature. How close did you come to directing something else after that?
Not close, because I really, this is a lot of work, being an actor and writer and director and producer at the same time. I don't know if I want to do this anymore. And then you spend a lot of time developing as a director a project, and they get to the end, and they say, no, wait a minute, I just spent 3 years doing this. So I like directing, but it's a lot of work, and so I decided to concentrate on acting.
I understand completely. Jumping into why I get to talk to you, you've worked with Woody before. I believe you did a play with him, a Sam Shepard play. What was it like getting to work with him again? Because he seems like he'd be a really fun scene partner.
He is a fun scene partner, and that's kind of really the initial push to do this film. I knew Woody well, because we had worked together. So this is going to be fun. This could, that after having read the script, I could really see ourselves in these roles, and this is going to be fun. And this is going to be, I think it's going to be a very eye-opening experience, which it turned out to be.
I've been on set watching Woody work. I was on the set of the Zombieland movie and a few other things. And to me, it seems like every take he does something slightly different.
Yeah.
So what is it like working with someone who really is in the moment and willing to just try things?
Oh, it's perfect because he works improvisationally, not making up the dialogue, but and the rhythm at which he performs the piece, and so it's improv. And I'm an improv actor myself, so we got along really well because we know how to listen to each other, and that comes out of that process. Sometimes you can say more by not saying anything.
What was your experience working with the Friends and non-professional actors?
That was my greatest, not concern, but question. First of all, can these kids play ball? Because that's going to be apparent if they can't, and how they were unprofessional actors. They were inexperienced. So how's that going to work? It worked great in both ends, because first of all they could play ball, and that was readily apparent. And then they had so many other interests outside of either playing ball. One kid spoke 7 languages. Other kids, could dance really, really, really well, even though they had physical disabilities, and they were like, every day was a new surprise. So it was always fun in that way.
I'm always amazed when I hear from when someone can speak more than one language, because I can barely speak English.
Yeah, really.
I'm so impressed.
Okay.
Well, talk a little bit about working with Bobby Farrelly, because I'm a big fan of his work, especially when he's worked with his brother. He's made so many movies that I think are so funny.
Me too. I'm a big Farrelly Brothers fan. They have conceits in their movie that are just so hilarious, and they make them work. So I was really interested, eager to work with Bobby, although it wasn't a Farrelly Brothers movie, but it was going to be Bobby, and so and it wasn't straight out comedy. This was going to be something else. This was going to be an uplifting film. There's a big romance in the middle of it that was surprising and worked surprisingly well. Those two together, Kaitlin and Woody together, were really good. And so it's all surprises in this movie, So I think the audience is going to be well rewarded if they go to see it like 7 times in a row.
Exactly. Spend the day in that theater, just keep going.
Yeah, get out of the snow and go in there.
Speaking of Woody and Kaitlin, I actually thought they were fantastic together.
Me too.
I totally bought into their chemistry.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really the heart of the movie for me. To watching this romance unfold and the complications that it comes with.
I love learning about the behind the scenes making of movies, TV shows. Is there anything that you think might surprise audiences to learn about the actual making of Champions?
Well, that we endured the cold. It was freezing there. We shot it in Winnipeg, and it was just so cold. That with non-professional actors, that they could really rise to the occasion. It was amazing. It was amazing. They weren't doing like Shakespeare or Hamlet, but they were non-professional actors. That was like asking somebody to be really good in figure skating when they've never put on a pair of figure skates before. So,
on that note, I need to wrap with you. I'm just going to say again, fan of your work. Thank you for giving me your time. Hope the film's a huge hit.
Thank you very much, man. Thanks for coming and seeing the film. Appreciate it.
Cool. Have a great day.